First up, we are covering a breaking input. Well, this input is from the UK. The radical Sikhs have prevented an Indian High Commissioner from entering a Gurudwara. Now, there have been attempts made to open the car door of the Indian High Commissioner by the K organizers. Now, there is a video that has come to the fore by the K organization. This is the Glasgow Gurudwara, Guru Granth Sahib Gurudwara in UK. Now, the Sikh protesters had a verbal spat with the Gurudwara committee member over the table set for the Indian High Commissioner's welcome, Vikram Doraiswamy. Now, as Vikram Doraiswamy's car arrives at the place, as you can see on the visuals that are being shown to you on the screen, a Sikh protester tries to open the door of his car and says, "You're the ambassador here, right? And it's best if you go." Then the protester goes on to say that this Gurudwara invited Indian ambassador with the excuse that he has come here to help with the visa process of Sikh community members. Indians have killed our Sikh people in Canada and England, and Gurudwara administration should understand their responsibilities. Now, every young Sikh should protest against them at every turn in his life. Like today, we protested against them in this Gurudwara. Now, these are the latest inputs that we are getting from UK. While joining me on the broadcast is my colleague Abhishek. A very good morning, Abhishek. It appears that the Sikh community's sentiments have been deeply affected by the escalating tensions between India and Canada, particularly in the light of the circumstances surrounding Nijjar's death. What more details do we have on this front?
Well, it was these Khalistani violent groups who have been bit impacted by the Nijjar's killing in Canada, and this is what they are trying to raise in every part of the world wherever the Khalistani extremist elements are located. In London also, in Glasgow also, where Indian High Commission was there to attend some cultural event and meet some people, eminent people from Glasgow. He also was invited by the Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee, and in that sense only he was going to the Gurudwara, where these a couple of Khalistani people, pro-Khalistani people, stopped him and asked him to leave the Gurudwara. There was, in the visual we could see they tried to open the door also when the High Commissioner was in a way locking the door so that they could not open it. And after like a brief confrontation, he left from the scene. And this is when these people have released another video where they are boasting about the fact that they had ensured that the Indian High Commission is turned around, and he went back from the place and he did not get an entry into Gurdwara. They were unhappy also that why at all the Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee had invited him. So it is not the Gurudwara entirely or the Sikh community who had been against Indian High Commission. It was just a couple of Palestinian people who were present at the spot and who created this ruckus and ensure that this thing happened and Indian High Commission goes back.
All right, Abhishek, help us understand that how do we actually view the role of diplomatic missions in this entire context, especially when this incident is coming to fore, when India diplomatic relations with Canada over Nijjar's killing are just escalating more and more?
Well, we have to see that in the recent past, the relationship with like at least like four countries: India, Canada, US, Australia, and UK. They have been marred by these, diplomatic protests that India has raised on the issue of Palestinian protesters, their violent groups, and their threat and intimidation tactics against Indian communities living in these countries, and also at sometimes their threat has been to the Indian diplomat community also. In fact, ever since the Nijjar's killing, the High Commissioner in UK and Deputy High Commissioner, their photos were circulated on social media, calling them out and by the Palestinian people and saying that these are the people who have been responsible for the just killing, and there was some reward also on their head. So, Indian diplomats have really faced a lot of threat and intimidation on social media, at least from Palestinian elements. India has raised the issue with UK government also, and in the past they had assured that they would ensure the safety and security of Indian High Commission and diplomats. We have seen what had happened in March, in the month of March, on London High Commission, where the Indian flag was disrespected. These Palestinian people
Right.
tried to break into the building, and since then, the lot of security has also been provided. But again, the Palestinian issue at large remains unaddressed by these countries.
All right, Abhishek, help us also understand, like you mentioned, that there are four nations that are trying to deal with this kind of a sentiment on Sikh communities' end. Is there a dire need for diplomatic efforts and open dialogue to address the entire concern and grievances of the Sikh community on both the sides?
Well, while we can say that the Khalistani people, they are located in other parts of Europe also, but their aggressive or their substantial presence has been noted and registered in these four countries only. In the recent past, when Prime Minister had an opportunity to meet Anthony Albanese when he was in India, Australian Prime Minister, they did talk about this Palestine issue, and the Australian side assured them that they would take action on them. Earlier, we have seen so many referendum by these Palestinian elements happening in Australia also, and some of them, some violent incidents also happened where the people from Khalistani group apparently they tried to disrespect Indian temples, deface their walls, or some, Mahatma Gandhi's statue was desecrated. So these things have happened just to, incite Indian communities the sentiment there, just to ensure that the social harmony that Indian community, both Sikh and Hindus and all majority and minority groups coming from India, they live together mostly, and a few handful of people who have their violent, and extremist agenda, and they have been kind of being supported by other countries also to further their vested interests. Especially, we have seen in the past also how Pakistan was deeply involved in creating, fomenting, and ensuring that the Palestinian issue keeps alive in all these countries. So, in the larger context, the issue needs to be addressed by these countries. India has raised that one should not pick or choose those isolated incidents, okay, as a law and order issue that somebody came and something was done to a temple or Indian community was threatened. It is a very well organized setup that is being created, that is propagating anti-India sentiment, and that is kind of an issue for India's national security as well, and the sovereignty and integrity of India as well. And the countries should address the issue in that context, that larger context, that how these groups have been involved in terrorist activities in the past. They are violent extremist group right now also, and they have a very negative and anti-India agenda that threatens India's security in for foreign soil as well.